Hey, Irving, you feel like some sugar wax? Nah, I'm still pretty full up on popcorn from the movie.
So, are we going to talk about it? Weapons? I think it's going to take me a long time to process what we just watched. Why do I feel so paranoid all of a sudden? I think maybe weapons tapped into something we're all collectively experiencing right now. That's why everybody seems to be fixated on it.
What's that? That we're all at risk of disappearing anytime with no explanation?
Sort of. But I think it's more specifically about the fact that we tend to see...
Did you hear that? Is someone else down here? In your basement?
I don't think so, but if anyone is lurking down here, I'm just going to assume they've seen the movie Weapons and won't mind hearing spoilers.
Well, I hope you can spoil it for me, Brewster. I don't really understand what I just saw.
But you recognize the feeling you had while you were watching it, like things are really off from what they're supposed to be, and no one can help you make any sense of it.
Yeah, I think I've been feeling that a lot more than I realized. And this movie, it made me think of how quickly everyone seems to be ready to turn on each other right now. It's like they want a scapegoat more than they want an explanation.
Exactly. And look at the world we've been living in lately. So many people, so many friends and family members are just kind of going off the deep end, and we can't seem to reach them. They start believing crazy ideas that fly in the face of even baseline logic. And it doesn't matter what evidence is presented. Even people who've devoted their lives to studying and deeply understanding a subject, they can be screaming out warnings, and they're ignored because some other, more sensationalist source tells them to be afraid.
Like the news?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter that their source claims to be entertainment to avoid accountability for what they say. That same source will still pose as somehow a balanced and fair messenger. And people go along with it because, well, I don't really fully understand why. That's the terrifying part. It's like they fall under the spell of this narrative, and who they were just disappeared. And we have to accept that they're gone, even when they're sitting right next to us, like Alex's parents in the movie.
And I feel like everyone is saying that about everyone else that doesn't agree with them, no matter what they believe.
But here's the thing. Information is way more accessible than people ever dreamed it would be. And there's plenty of tools out there to determine what's true or not, if people care to use them. But for some reason, a lot of people are choosing not to. They don't want to examine their reality, and the systems we always took for granted as being stable and run by competent adults are breaking down as a result.
It's like in the movie, the dad, Archer, he's turning to the authorities and the various administrations for answers, asking what they're doing to solve the problem. And he's met with mawkish sympathy and a dismissive message that he isn't informed because it's not his job, and to just trust that those supposedly more qualified are on it.
And even though it's an utterly baffling mystery, Archer doesn't give up on there being a real answer. And unlike a lot of other movies, still great movies, but movies that are content to let the mystery be, this one does have an answer, just waiting there for anyone who's truly determined enough to look for it.
Yeah, Justine, the teacher, she knows she's the best person to connect with Alex, her student, who's the only other known direct connection to the other kid's disappearance. And yet, no one will let her talk to him.
And Alex is told he can't talk to Justine either, or terrible things will happen to his family.
Yes, that's how I feel like I've been living lately. It's like if I want to probe for the truth, even a little, I'm somehow offending proper sensibilities. Or worse, I'm going to cause a rift with dire consequences.
It was all too familiar watching this movie. And that's the brilliant thing about elevated horror films. There's a tradition there of identifying the current ills of society and shining a light onto them through fantastic allegory. It manages to be more revealing than discussing our current situation on its face. Why is that? I think it's because stories help people drop their defenses. They don't have to be suspicious of being lied to because they've already bought into the premise that it's not the truth. But the thing is, it is the truth. And the truth will always find a way out eventually. You can't keep it in the basement forever. And the truth does come out in weapons. It's one thing to put children under a spell, but that same spell sets them up to turn on the source of evil, Aunt Gladys, and they end up tearing her apart. Yes, I don't think it's a wild leap to understand who Aunt Gladys is a stand-in for. She's a moribund clown in caked-on makeup who lies and ensnares naive souls so she can exploit and feed off of them. And the people and institutions that could keep her in check, she takes them down before they can stop her. Yeah, and as horrific as Aunt Gladys was, I think there's something else in weapons that made me even more unsettled. Yeah, Erving? What's that? Well, you know how my parents weren't around much when I was a kid? And when they were, sometimes that was even worse? Yes, Erving. We had a lot of sleepovers in this basement, but it wasn't always for happy reasons. Well, what Alex experienced, it felt like that a lot in my house. Yeah, you'd be missing a big part of this movie if you saw it and didn't realize how it's also about living with parents with substance misuse. On this count, the writer and director, Zach Krieger, he confirmed explicitly that he made Weapons as a partially autobiographical movie about growing up with alcoholism in the house. This foreign element intrudes into your life, turns your parents into degraded versions of their true self, and the appropriate roles are reversed, so the child has to be the caregiver, sustaining the family while going off to school every day and pretending everything is normal, as long as no one can see what's happening inside the house. It may not be as terrible as an allusion to school shootings, but it was still horrific to me. It's horrific for all of us. I'm sorry, Erving. It's better now. Are you sorry you saw the movie? No. I think I understand my life a little better now. And that's a good thing, even if it was painful to feel some of those things again. Hey, want to sleep over and binge Thundercats? Thundercats! Ho!
Thunder!